title of today's class is 5 Marks of a Pharisee. We're going to start out in the book of Matthew, chapter 23 and verse 27. The book of Matthew, chapter 23 and verse 27.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones, and of all uncleanness.
Good morning, saints. I'm Brother Jacob. Let's get right into the heart of today's message. 5 Marks of a Pharisee. You see, the Pharisees were not just ancient religious leaders. The spirit of the Pharisee is alive today in churches, Israelite communities, and yes, sometimes in us. They were religious, but not righteous. They were pious, but not pure. They had tradition, but no transformation. Today we're going to look at 5 marks of a Pharisee and ask ourselves some tough but necessary questions. Because the truth is, if we don't kill the Pharisee in us, the Pharisee will kill our spiritual growth. Mark number 1, obsession with outward appearance. Still in the book of Matthew chapter 23, we're going to start at verse 5. The book of Matthew chapter 23 and verse 5.
But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries, and enlarge the borders of their garments.
Examine your motives. Ask yourself, am I doing this for God or for applause? Pharisees look holy, but live for likes. They are more concerned with their image than their intimacy with God. They're the ones who post every act of charity on social media, but never pray in secret. Let me ask you a bold question. If no one saw your good works, would you still do them? Mark number 2. They preach what they don't practice. We're going to move up to verse 3. Still in Matthew 23, we're going to move up to verse 3.
All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not.
Pharisee mindset talks heavy but lives light. It knows scripture but lacks surrender. This is the employee who lectures others on integrity but cheats on their timesheet. This is the brother or leader who knows every verse but doesn't forgive their own brother. Match your life with your lips. Whatever you teach, live it first. Moving on to Mark number 3. They major in minors. Going to be in the book of Matthew chapter 23 still, verse 24. The book of Matthew chapter 23 and verse 24.
Ye blind guides which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel.
They focus on rules while missing the reason. They debate over head coverings, calendar dates, or dietary laws, yet overlook love, mercy, and justice. Pharisees turn preferences into commandments and forget that God weighs the heart, not just the habits. Let's get the book of Matthew chapter 23 and verse 23. Still in the book of Matthew chapter 23 and verse 23.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone.
Prioritize the weightier matters: judgment, mercy, and faith. Moving on to Mark number 4. They love power, not people. Still in the book of Matthew, chapter 23, we're going to get verse 6 through 7. The book of Matthew, chapter 23, verse 6 through 7.
And love the uppermost rooms at feasts, and the chief seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the markets, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi.
Titles more than testimonies. They want to be called rabbi, pastor, elder, and whatever else they call themselves these days. But their heart is far from God. Let's get the book of Matthew chapter 23 and verse 13. The book of Matthew chapter 23 and verse 13.
But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men, for ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in.
Pharisees don't serve. They supervise. They don't disciple. They dominate. And worst of all, they block others from entering the kingdom. Practice servant leadership. Be known more for how you help than how you're honored. The last mark number 5, they can't receive correction. Let's get the book of Luke, chapter 11 and verse 45. The book of Luke, chapter 11 and verse 45.
Then answered one of the lawyers, and said unto him, Master, thus saying thou reproachest us also.
Anytime Yahawashi corrected the Pharisees, they got offended instead of convicted. Pharisees are allergic to accountability. They reject the prophets, they stone the messengers, and ignore the Spirit. But you can't grow if you can't be corrected. Ask God for a teachable spirit. Don't flinch at correction. Flourish from it. Kill the Pharisee in you. Look, here's the truth. The Pharisee is not just a historical villain. It's a spiritual virus. And if we're not careful, we'll become everything we hate in others. But here's the good news. God doesn't want actors. He wants worshipers in spirit and truth. Let's jump to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36 and verse 26. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 36 and verse 26.
A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you, and I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh.
It's time to take the mask off, saints. Time to do a deep heart check. Ask yourself daily, am I real or religious? Am I pursuing holiness or just habits? Do I walk in truth when no one is watching? Because true righteousness is not performance, it's transformation. And if we want to be used by God in this generation, we've got to be real. Let me get the book of Psalms, chapter 139, verse 23 through 24. The book of Psalms, chapter 139, verse 23 through 24.
Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting.
Let that be your prayer this week. Let the Lord reveal, remove, and replace the Pharisee spirit with the spirit of a true servant, a humble disciple, and a genuine believer. Shalom, Israel.